On the edge of the city stood a small, aging house where Maya Johnson lived with her mother, Rosa. They didn't have much money, but they had each other. Every morning before sunrise, Rosa prepared for another long day of work while Maya helped around the house. Life had never been easy for Maya. As she walked through the city each day, she saw expensive cars, luxury stores, and wealthy people rushing to work. Many of them never noticed her. One morning, an elderly man's grocery bag suddenly burst open. Fruit rolled across the sidewalk as people walked past without helping. Maya immediately rushed over and began gathering the scattered groceries. Across the street, a young businessman named Ethan Carter watched the entire thing. Something about Maya's kindness caught his attention. She wasn't helping for recognition. She simply cared. A few days later, Ethan saw Maya again while she worked at a small coffee shop. Their conversation was brief, but both left thinking about each other. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Their conversations grew longer, and before long, a friendship began to blossom into something much deeper. Ethan found himself happier whenever Maya was around. Unlike everyone else in his life, she never cared about his wealth or status. Eventually, Ethan told his parents about Maya. At first they seemed interested. But the moment they learned she came from a poor neighborhood, their expressions changed. Despite their concerns, Ethan invited Maya to meet his family. Maya felt nervous but hopeful as they drove toward the Carter mansion. When Maya first saw the mansion, she couldn't believe her eyes. The home was larger than anything she had ever imagined. Inside, she was introduced to Victoria and Richard Carter. Although they smiled politely, Maya could immediately sense their judgment. At dinner, every question seemed designed to remind Maya where she came from. Victoria questioned her upbringing, her neighborhood, and even her mother's jobs. By the end of the evening, Maya returned home, feeling humiliated. She tried to stay positive, but the experience hurt more than she wanted to admit. That night, Mr. Lewis noticed Maya sitting alone. The elderly neighbor listened as she shared her worries and reminded her that a person's worth is not measured by money. Not long afterward, Maya met Sophia Bennett. Sophia came from a wealthy family and immediately looked down on Maya. At every opportunity, Sophia made cruel comments about Maya's clothes, her neighborhood, and her family's financial struggles. Although the insults hurt, Maya never responded with anger. Ethan admired her strength and patience. One evening, Maya attended a large charity gala with Ethan. Wealthy guests filled the ballroom while whispers followed her wherever she went. Then Maya overheard a group of guests mocking her. One woman laughed and said people from neighborhoods like hers should know their place. The comments cut deeply. Ethan apologized for how people treated her, but Maya began wondering if she would ever truly be accepted. While Maya struggled with rejection, a much bigger problem was unfolding. Richard Carter discovered that his company was facing a serious financial crisis. Investors began leaving. Contracts disappeared. The company that had made the Carter family wealthy was falling apart. Within months, headlines spread across the city. The Carter empire was collapsing. The family was devastated. The people who once surrounded them suddenly disappeared. Meanwhile, Maya continued helping people in her community. Even during difficult times, she never stopped putting others first. She organized food drives, volunteered at local events, and supported struggling families however she could. The stress eventually became too much for Victoria. One day, she was rushed to the hospital. While recovering, Victoria received an unexpected visitor. To her surprise, Maya walked through the hospital door. Victoria couldn't understand why Maya had come after everything that had happened. Maya simply smiled and said, "Because kindness shouldn't depend on how people treat us." For the first time, Victoria truly saw Maya's character. The young woman she had judged for so long possessed a heart far richer than any fortune. Eventually, the Carter family lost their mansion and moved into a small apartment. Life became much more difficult than they had ever known. Throughout it all, Maya continued supporting Ethan and his family. She never sought revenge. She never reminded them of their mistakes. Months later, the community gathered for a festival organized by Maya. Families laughed. Children played, and neighbors celebrated together. Standing before the crowd, Victoria publicly apologized to Maya. She admitted she had spent years judging people based on wealth and status. "I was wrong," Victoria said. "You showed my family more kindness than we ever showed you." Maya accepted the apology, and the crowd erupted into applause. It was a moment neither family would ever forget. As the sun set over the neighborhood where Maya grew up, she stood beside her mother outside their home. Looking back on everything that had happened, Maya realized something important. Some people measure wealth by money. Others measure it by possessions. But true wealth is found in kindness, compassion, and character. And those are treasures no one can ever take away.